What's up guys, welcome back here. Today I'm back for another video, and in this video I got two different parts coming up. One is going to be ranking the top 30 backcourts in the league, and the other is ranking the top 30 front courts. But first I'm going to start with the backcourts. If the player is out for the whole year, I'm not going to put them. So Klay Thompson and Jonathan Isaac, you will not be seeing them. But for everyone else, they should be in here. And I hope you enjoy. If you have any different opinions about it, comment that down below, because I feel like y'all are going to disagree with a lot of this. This is just based on my opinion. But before we even start, you already know it's going to be bigger, so make sure to drop a like. Comment down below any new video that you have, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. 72 right now, it goes 100 by the end of the year. But now let's get started. So first, let's start off with numbers 30 to 21. At 30, I got Killian Hayes and DeLon right into Detroit Pistons. Hayes, we don't know what he's going to be, and Wright, compared to all these other guards, may be the worst on the list. No offense, but he's really just a good defender, not really offense specialist. So they're at 30. 29, we got Elfrid Payton and RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is just really inefficient, but I feel like he may take a step up. But Elfrid Payton, he has the potential to be probably the worst guard on this list. Get good assist numbers, but not the greatest playmaker. And he has solid defense, but really nothing special. 28, we're gonna have DeJounte Murray and Derek White. The problem, I like this duo a lot. I think DeJounte Murray is a really good defender. It's just that the guards are stacked here, so it's tough to put him higher. Derek White's a good scoring guard. But 27, I have LaMelo and Devontae Graham. Devontae Graham averaged a good 19 points per game last year. He was just inefficient, which brings him down. Could even shoot for 40%. And LaMelo, I think he'll have the same inefficiency issues. So these duos could be one of the top playmaking duos, but I don't think it'll be one of the best duos because it could be the worst efficient duo. 26, we're gonna have Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is a 20-point per game scorer, better shooter, but he's not the greatest defender. He's better than both LaMelo and Devontae Graham, which is why they're above. And Darius Garland had an awful start to his career. If he can bounce back, it could potentially be higher. Next is 25, which is Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe. Both great defenders. Lonzo's a good playmaker, but they're really nothing special, and they really don't really fit well together in my opinion, which is what brings them down a lot. Compared to number 24, we're gonna have Markelle Fultz and Evan Fournier. Fultz is a really good scoring guard, and Fournier is a really good scoring guard. Both can get scored in different ways. Fultz is really working on this jump shot. Defense, both of them could really work on it, but it's not as bad as some of the lower guys, and I think this is a good spot for them. 23, we're gonna have Shea and George Hill. George Hill is an all right point guard to have, but Shea is the reason why they're up here. An amazing scoring guard, has like huge star potential that maybe he can break out a little more. 22, we're gonna have Goran Dragic and Duncan Robinson. Y'all may be surprised because Goran Dragic is extremely underrated. It's just how stacked this guard depth is in the league. Like, guards have been evolving so much, and it's just so weird to put them there. Duncan's an elite shooter, Dragic is an elite scorer, but I think every other duo has at least a borderline all-star. I don't think Dragic or Duncan are that. Dragic's close, but he's not a borderline all-star. At 21, we're gonna have D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley. To put them this low just feels criminal, but it's tough compared to the other ones. Malik Beasley is a good scoring guard, but he only did it for like one spurt. We don't know if he's gonna continue it. And D'Lo had a really good year, but I think Malik Beasley is the reason why they fall down. Next, I'm gonna be saying pick 20 to pick 11, and then I'm gonna talk individually about each top 10, like deeper than how I'm talking about these ones. So first, we're gonna have at 20, we're gonna have Kobe White and Zach LaVine. LaVine, a beast of a scorer. Kobe White, also a beast of a scorer, and he really showed up mostly after the All-Star break. You could see what Kobe White, what his near potential could be, and how he could keep working to potentially be hopefully a future 20-point per game scorer. Next to LaVine, who's already a beast of a scorer, and that duo is just nice, but defense is sus, and the guard depth is stacked. Like I said, 19, we're gonna have Drew Holiday and Dante DiVincenzo. They're like similar to the opposite of LaVine and Kobe White. Amazing defensive players, both. Drew Holiday is an all-defensive player, and DiVincenzo's potential to be an all-defensive player, but offensively they're like not very special to like what these other guards could really be. And even though Drew has that leadership, Dante is not really that type of guy yet. So that's why they fall at 19, with number 18 being John Morant and Dylan Brooks, almost leading to the playoffs by himself. John Morant is a beast of a scorer. Dylan Brooks, also underrated as a scorer. I think y'all would be mad for me having Holiday and DiVincenzo, but I have Holiday over Morant, but I have Brooks way over Dante DiVincenzo. I feel like he's really underrated. He's not a bad defender either, same with Ja. They're not the best, but they're not bad. And I think putting him at 18 would be good, especially with the jump they're gonna make next season, in my opinion. Maybe not as a team, but these two players will make jumps. Next up, we're gonna have at 17 Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. I mean Murray, I don't know why I say Murray, but we gonna talk about that. Jamal Murray could be an all-star next year, but we only saw this from a playoff run. We thought he was gonna be something big after his playoff run the year before, and he ended up showing inconsistency, but this playoff was even bigger, potentially make an even bigger jump. Gary Harris, he's been getting worse the past 2 years. I don't know how. He continues that decline. That's the reason why it could happen here. But if he takes a step back up, he could get back higher. 16, we're gonna have Patrick Beverley and Paul George. And the reason why I'm having him over here is because George is an amazing two-way player, can get buckets and can get stops. The playoff run, I'm not really counting too much into it. I'm really just counting Patrick Beverley. He's a dog on defense, but he's kind of been overrated as a defensive player. He just gets in your head a lot. He gets a lot of buckets on him, but he just tries to make it tough for you not to score on him. And it usually works, but like those guys who have high-minded IQs, they get through it. And the reason why Patrick Beverley brings down Paul George is because of that. So, and at number 15, we're going to be having Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell. The reason why I have him there, Mitchell's a beast. Conley showed regression. If he looked like how he looked in the playoffs throughout the whole season, they would definitely be higher than this. But the reason why I have him here is because of Conley's regression. Mitchell will continue taking jumps, but the guards are just too stacked, and Conley's regression is bringing them down. Number 14, Malcolm Brogdon and Victor Oladipo, which y'all may be really mad about this, but remember, Victor Oladipo looked like an all-star. Even if he only averages like 15 to 16 points per game, he'll still get you great defense, which is something that is really underrated in the league now. And with Malcolm Brogdon being an okay defender, along with could get a 20-point per game season with 8 assists, I have him at 14 because I feel like they're underrated as a duo and they work really well. Third team, we're gonna have Trae Young and Bogdan. They're not great defenders. Trae Young's actually probably the worst at defense, but their offensive game is just too overpowered to not put them in the top 15. Trae Young, you already know what he can do. Bogdan's underrated. He can catch and shoot. He's able to create a shot a little bit. He can play make a little bit. Not like Trae Young play make, but he's a decent playmaker. So 13, I feel like is a good spot. 12, we're gonna have Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. A new duo that we gotta see. But I feel like they could actually mesh well together. Ben Simmons, you already know what he could do. Seth Curry, you can have the best out of him playing with a great playmaker like Luka. That brought the best out of him. Now playing with a great maker like Ben Simmons, especially with them going to dominate in the post and wanting to double team inside. Seth Curry's going to space out. Seth's going to bring up the best in Ben. Ben's going to bring up the best in Seth. 11, we're going to have De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield. I have them higher than Simmons and Curry because we've seen them for a while, so we know how they work. And we saw how they gel well together and how beast of a duo they could really be. It's really their front court that be hitting them different. But Fox and Hield can both be 20-point per game guys with Fox playmaking and Buddy Hield shooting. That's just a really nice combo. And yeah, that's 20 through 11. Now I'm going to individually talk about my top 10. To start off the top 10, we're going to have a number 10, LeBron James and Wesley Matthews. This really should be Dennis Schroeder and Wesley Matthews, which should be way lower than this. But even though most reports say Dennis Schroeder wants to start, it looks like LeBron James wants to run point guard again. So he's like going to run point guard with Wesley Matthews at the 2. And you know, like it's LeBron, he had to make the top 10. But like Wesley Matthews, if it was like Dennis Schroeder with LeBron, they could potentially even be higher, maybe like 7 or 6. But yeah, it's really just LeBron and Wesley Matthews. LeBron's a great playmaker. Wesley Matthews is a great 3-and-D player, but he's just a role player. LeBron James, best player in the league. You know what he does. You put LeBron in the front court with AD, and whoever the center was going to be, whether it's Gasol or Harrell, they probably would have been, no question, first in the front court list. But with him being a point guard next to Wesley Matthews, I'm going to have him at 10. Kind of hurts, but I do. Number 9, I'm going to have Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr. You clearly know that LeBron's better than Luka, but Luka can do like similar to the same things, just like way less athletic and like way less impact, because you know what LeBron can do. Luka's not really at that stage yet where he can like be on any team and immediately take them to the finals, but he has that high potential. I don't know if he can be able to reach it, but He has the potential. You know what he can do. And Tim Hardaway is really underrated, an immediate bucket scorer. He's worked on his efficiency since he got to Dallas. When he was in New York, he was extremely inefficient. He's getting better at that. And with his amazing scoring ability, with Luka's playmaking, that's a really nice duo at number 9. Number 8, I'm going to have Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins. The Andrew Wiggins slander has to stop. Wiggins is a 20-point-per-game scorer and is capable of doing that with more efficiency with the Warriors if everything goes out well. Because you know how Draymond can play make, and you know that Curry's going to be taking most of the shot. But you know Curry's able to play make too, and that'll work well with Wiggins. And you know what Curry can do? Like a top 5, at worst a top 7 player in the league. If you have him at 8, cough ESPN, that's really stupid. But you know what Curry can do? And with a 20-point-per-game scorer in the backcourt next to him, he's not going to have the defense like Clay, which was going to bring him back. With Clay and Curry, it would be way higher than this. But Wiggins is not the worst replacement, and I feel like he's going to work well with Curry. Number 7, this may surprise you, about Kyrie Irving and Karis LeVert. I feel like the scoring from this duo will be off the chart, especially playing even with a guy like KD. The scoring is still going to be off the chart. You know what LeVert can do after dropping a 50 bomb against Boston? You know he's been working on his playmaking, as you saw in the bubble. He was being more of a playmaker instead of taking like all the shots. He was trying to find open guys, with guys being named TLC. You got Tyler Johnson. You have Donta Hall getting minutes in the playoffs, and he was still able to find them and rack up a bunch of assists. If he can work on that playmaking throughout the season next to Kyrie, that would be really scary. You know what Kyrie can do. Top 5 point guard in the league. You know how scary he is. Him, LeVert, I got him at number 7. Number 6, I'm going to have Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. I feel like both are underrated. Basically, the whole Toronto squad is really underrated in my opinion. But I don't know why I don't have him being super high in the East. But Lowry, you know what he can do. You know his leadership. You know he's able to score. He takes charges. He makes smart defensive plays. You know how he can play make. VanVleet, you know he can turn up scoring at any time. They don't have the best defense, but Lowry's an alright defender. VanVleet, not really, but he can work on that because he is not that old. I think he's like 26, 27, around that range. And Lowry, even though he's probably going to regress, he's still going to be a borderline All-Star player. Do I see him making the All-Star game? Probably not. I feel like he's going to have a really good season no matter what. And him and VanVleet, I got him at 6. And to start the top 5, at number 5, I have Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, he works really well defensively. And with a more consistent 3-point shot, that works really well with Kemba's ability to score 20 points at any given night, plus an okay playmaking ability. I feel like he's alright at that. The playoff series, yeah, if I just count how they performed, Kemba's performance in the playoffs with Marcus Smart, averagely in the regular season, it would be lower, but I feel like they work really well. And Marcus Smart's playoff was actually really well too. He actually did pretty well, looking like, at times, the 3rd best player on the Boston Celtics. Sometimes the 2nd whenever Jaylen Brown was just off. He looked really well in a lot of games in the playoffs, and I feel like him and Kemba are going to have great years once Kemba gets healthy. Number 4, I'm going to have John Wall and James Harden. You know how James Harden can be 34 point per game guy. You know he play makes. You know he can rebound and push the pace. Even though he sometimes doesn't try. When he has the ball in his hands, he can do special things. And people question the Harden and Westbrook fit, and that actually worked out really well, as they averaged like combined 60 points, combined like 20 assists. And the same thing can happen with Wall. Even though he's coming off of injury, he's still looking somewhat explosive. He's able to attack, and he's able to finish really well. His shot is looking okay. He was never a greatest 3-point shooter, but it's looking okay. It's better than Westbrook's, I can admit. I feel like that can help benefit Harden. And if they continue to play together, they can be really well. At number 3, I'm going to have Russell Westbrook. Speaking of Westbrook, I got him at number 3 with Bradley Beal. They just seem like perfect fit. Russ's ability to attack, to finish, his aggressive ways, compared to Bradley Beal's, he's able to like shot create from any way, whether it's attacking, mid-range, or just spotting up from 3. He can play on ball and off ball. And with Russell Westbrook being an attacker, can rebound, can play make, it'll just work really well with Bradley Beal's ability to score in any way and amazing shooting. And I feel like that's like a perfect couple, just that I can't have them behind these two duos, with at number 2 being Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I was talking about Russ and Beal being a match made in heaven. Paul and Booker are a match made in heaven. Booker can score on all 3 levels, like I said, attacking, mid-range, or 3-point shooting. And Russ is a pretty good rebounder for his size, an amazing playmaker with high IQ, and can score too with a crafty handle. like handling him. It's not like Russ attacking, but he's crafty with it, and he can play amazing defense. It's not as good as his prime / young days, but he's still able to get a bunch of steals, not just steals, but make the right play on defense. He's a great communicator, and that will just work really well. And honestly, I see the Wizards being a higher seed than the Suns. I see the Wizards being like a 6, 7 seed. Suns being around the 8 seed range. But I feel like the Suns are going to have a better record, and that's going to lead toward the Suns duo being better. But I cannot have them behind number 1, which I'm going to have Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Yes, I talk about defense a lot. I know how their defense is such. But Lillard and McCollum have been a great duo for so long. And if we're just talking about backcourt players, I got to put them at number 1. You know what Dame can do. You know what CJ can do. CJ could be an all-star. He averaged 22 points per game last year. He's a bucket getter. You know how Dame be, 30 points per game. You saw how he take over to the bubble. And with a more healthy Blazers depth, the team could be really scary. Even though they could fall to like the 7 seed, they could range up to like the 3 seed. They could be a really scary team to watch out for and potentially make the Western Conference Finals, which is something I can't really say about most of these duos except like some of the lower ones that like have like one superstar and then one role player, with most of their great players being in the front court. But like this duo could really carry the Blazers to the Western Conference Finals. I would not be surprised if that happened. But yeah, that's gonna be my backcourt video. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on it. Comment down below any new video ideas you have me to do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace out, guys.